We'll start with the prayers. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahaihi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Taittriya Upanishad Bhashyam, the second chapter, which is the most important chapter in Taittriya Upanishad. What we are covering now is extremely important, not only for this Upanishad, but also to study all other Upanishads. Just to give you a summary of what we have discussed so far, we have taken up the analysis of Atma. And we are looking at our own body and we are trying to understand where is that Atma which is mentioned in the Veda. The purpose of Veda is to reveal to us our real nature. Taittriya Upanishad is one of the direct Upanishads which tells us that if we look at our own self, our own personality, we can divide it into 5 parts. And each part is called as a kosha. Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. So all of you are familiar with these 5 dresses which we wear. The outer layer is called as the annamaya, the food sheath, the gross body. Inside the gross body is the prana, which keeps the external body alive. If there was no prana, then the body will not remain alive. Beyond the prana, the breath, there is a third dress, which is the mind, the mental sheath. Mind is required for the operation of the body. Without the mind, the body cannot act. The mind is like the tungsten in a bulb. Without the tungsten, the bulb cannot glow. Electricity passing through the tungsten makes the bulb glow. Brahman, Satchidananda Brahman, like electricity, when it is reflected in the mind then gives the power to the body to breathe and to remain alive. When the body dies, what we say is the prana is gone. When the prana is gone, the mind also goes along with the prana to the next body. The next body is already available in a sukshma form, in a very, very minute form. This prana and the mind leave this body and they enter into another body. This is what is said in chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita. That is the pramana. That is the source for this knowledge of the mind along with the prana and the 17 subtle organs. They leave the body. So pranamaya, manomaya, these are the first 3 koshas. The 4th kosha is called as the Vijnanamaya kosha. Vijnanamaya means what? It is the karta and the bhokta. Karta means the doer of action. In this body, there is a doer. The I, the ego, is the doer. That is called as the Vijnanamaya Kosha. The last kosha is Anandamaya Kosha. Anandamaya Kosha is the one in which we are when we are in our deep sleep state. Karana Shariram. So beyond these five koshas is Atma, is Brahman. So the first step is to drop the five koshas and then say, I am the Atma. Then what do we do? Then we say, this Atma, which is the core of my personality, is the same as the core of this entire universe, which we call it as Brahman. Okay. Now we will go to the portion where we stopped last time. This is where the slide which we stopped last time. And what we are studying now is the sixth Anuvaka, the sixth section of the second chapter. And this section is extremely important. And this is the section on which the Bhashyam is being written. So all of you who are studying Taittriya Upanishad, you must revise the sixth section. Up to the fifth section is the five koshas. The sixth section starts the teaching 6, 7, and 8. There are 3 sections. These 3 sections are the most important sections of the entire Taittriya Upanishad. Why do we say so? Because this is where the Upanishad teaches us, is there anything beyond the 5 koshas? If so, what is the nature of that entity? In the sixth Anuvaka section, there are 3 mantras. Now we are doing the third mantra. In the first mantra, I'm just telling you a little bit of what we have already done so that you can connect what we are going to discuss today, because what we are going to discuss today is very, very important. In the first mantra of the sixth section, the Upanishad says that you must admit that there is something called as Brahman. After you see the 5 koshas, and the Upanishad says, negate the 5 koshas. After negating the 5 koshas, it is not nothingness, but there is some reality behind the jiva. So in the first mantra of the sixth section, the essence of Anandamaya Kosha is the self, is what is said. Then in the second mantra, the Upanishad starts an inquiry into this reality. What is it? The inquiry is there a Brahman which is beyond the 5 koshas, behind the entire universe? Is there some reality? To explain that, the Upanishad takes the third mantra, which is what we are discussing now. And here, so kamayata bahushyam praja eeti. That is the verse which we are doing now. And in this verse, what the Upanishad says is that there is a sentient Paramatma. Brahman is a sentient principle. It is not an inert Jada principle. How do you know it's sentient principle? Because it says Brahman desired. Desiring is a faculty of a sentient being. You and I can desire. A stone cannot desire. A table cannot desire. A wall cannot desire. But you and I can have desires. So indirectly, the Upanishad says that there is a sentient being at the end of the five koshas. There is something. And that is a sentient being. And that is the cause for the entire universe. In this portion, which you can see in the slide here, that Brahman alone is the cause for space. That's what Shankaracharya is commenting. So there is a reality, and it is the cause of space. Why does it take space? Because it is the subtlest thing in creation. And anything which is a product is called as karyam. Karyam means product. From that space came the other four elements: Vayu, Agni, Prithvi, all these Jalam, all these four elements came out of space. They were born from space. That is what it says. And then body-mind complex was created from the food. In this process, what it says is Brahman, the sentient being, when this body-mind was created, it seemingly as though it enters the body. I will tell you why it is called seemingly in the later stage. In the later analysis, it'll tell us why it is a seeming entry. So this is the portion we are studying now. Anupravesham, entry of the life force into this body. How does this happen? What is the nature of this? What are the effects of this is what we are discussing. That is why I said this portion is very, very important. After creating the universe and the mind, in the mind alone, Brahman enters the body. And it is always there. Throughout our life, this Sakshi is there. This observer principle is there. This observer Sakshi Brahman is our source of the entire universe. And this is what Upanishad is trying to reveal to us, that beyond the universe, beyond the five koshas, there is one common entity which is called as Brahman, and it is without which there is no universe. Now, so far we have seen the entry. Now, what is the role of this Brahman in this body is what we need to understand. This is what is being described. Now, commentary on this verse goes on for pages and pages and pages. So the commentary is, it's a long commentary because the subject matter is very subtle. We are not talking about an object, but we are talking about our own subject. Who are we? That I is being described here. Drishta or Shrota means who is the seer or who is the hearer. You can say that the mind with Chidabhasa, mind plus reflection of consciousness, is the hearer, the seer, the smeller. Normally, we say that eyes are seeing it. But when you come to Vedanta, you should understand there is a difference between the eyes and the power behind the eyes. In Tattva Bodha itself, we have seen Indriyams and Golakam. Golakam means the outer eye, external instrument. Indriya means the power which makes the eyes see. That power can be called as that Brahman, or it can be called as the reflection of that Brahman in the mind of a person. So you have to go into this level of discussion. We have to go very deep now. I'm taking you slowly to deeper and deeper. Upanishad is the only way we can make our mind subtler, purer, and focused. When we listen to these words of the Upanishad, we have to travel along with the Upanishad in our own mind. And then the Upanishad will suddenly throw up the light and say, this is what you are. Tattvamasi. It will take you deep inside. And then it will say, that is what is your real nature. In a very advanced text called as Vichara Sagara, the author is a great Acharya, Advaita Acharya. He says that there are three constituents when you say, I am a seer. I see the world. The first constitution is the consciousness, which is called as Chit. The second constitution, it is called as Chit Abhasa. Why do we bring in the Chit Abhasa? Because Chit is something which is always there, eternal. Whereas my body and mind is not eternal. So we bring in the concept of a reflection or an enclosure. The Chit, we say it is enclosed in the body and mind, or we say it is reflected in the body and mind. These are the two theories. One is called as Abhasavada, another is called as Avachedavada. Abhasavada means reflection theory. Avachedavada means enclosure theory. What are these two theories? They explain to me how that pure consciousness expresses in this body and mind. So the third constitution is the mind. Mind is the likes and dislikes, the feelings, the passions, the anger, the love, compassion, all that is the mind. But what enlightens that mind is the Chit. I'm going extremely slow now because this portion is important and it is subtle. Therefore, I'm not rushing it like I did before in the previous classes. This session will be a slow session and you have to go very deeply into your own mind. So sometimes the Upanishad will say that the Chit Sakshi is your real nature. Sometimes it will say you are not the Sakshi, you are the Pramata in this body. When the Upanishad says Pramata, see, these are two technical terms. You must understand the technical term so that you understand the concept behind the whole teaching. So Pramata, try to understand and keep this in mind all the time now. Whenever we say Pramata, immediately you should say mind plus reflected consciousness. When you say Chit or when you say Sakshi, it means only the pure consciousness. There are two knowers in this body. When you say, I know the wall in front of me, the first knower is called as Pramata. And the second knower is called as Sakshi. Without Sakshi, there cannot be Pramata. Without the Chit, there cannot be Chit Abhasa. What are the two types of knowers? One knower is a changeless knower. It is always a knower. Whereas Pramata is a changing, changing knower. Changing knower is called as Savikara. And changeless knower is called as Nirvikara. Vikara means modification. With modification of the mind, without the modification of the mind. So whenever I see something, hear something, taste something, smell something, touch something, feel something, it is hard, it is soft, it is fragrant, it is a good odor, all this is a thought in the mind. The eyes are seeing it, it sends the perception to the mind, and the mind has a vritti parinama. So here, what we are trying to, what the Upanishad is trying to teach us is Nirvikara Drishta. Nirvikara Drishta is the Sakshi. And that Sakshi is given a name, hearer, smeller, seer. We have studied Keno Upanishad, Shrotrasya Shrotram, Manaso Manoyad, Vacho hi Vacham, Sahu Pranasya Pranaha. Chakshusha Chakshusu Adimutya Diraha, Pretyasman Lokan Amrita Bhavanti. So this Sakshi is the ear of the ear. That means ears cannot function without the Sakshi. This principle is extremely important. We are trying to reach the Sakshi. In our sleep state, we are all Sakshi. That is the second knower. What does it know? It knows the world when it is there. It also knows when the world is absent. That is the beauty of this Sakshi principle. You have to understand step by step all these things in order to go deep within you. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, this particular mantra of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is also giving us the same message. What is the message in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad? In Keno Upanishad, we have seen now. It is the year of the year and so on. What is the year of the year? Sakshi or Brahman. It's just two different names, that's all. And in the Brihadaranyaka, it says that it is also the same. It can never be seen. What is this Brihadaranyaka? It goes one step further. Can you see the Sakshi, which is the seer of the seer? No. Because it is behind the eyes. It's like the battery in a torchlight. The torchlight wants to see the battery, which is covered. What brand of battery am I using? This example is given by Swami Chinmayananda. He says, the moment you remove the light, then you want to see, then what happens? The light is gone. Similarly, the moment you say, I want to see the Sakshi, you don't have any instrument to see. So it is never a knower, it is a knower, it is the thinker behind the thoughts. And this is the ultimate knower. The mind is an intermediate knower, whereas the Sakshi is the ultimate knower. right now we are talking about the ultimate knower, which is the Sakshi. Okay, what is the difference between a wall and a human being? See, these are all fundamentals of Vedanta. You should try to pick up so that anytime anybody asks you the question, you are very clear. A human being has a mind. In the mind, there is a reflection of Chit. A dead body has no Chit Abhasa. Chit does not have Sakshi status in a dead body. Chit is always there. But when the mind is gone, the prana is gone, there is no reflection of that Chit in the body. That is why we call it a dead body. Now, what happens in a wall? The wall has Chaitanya, but it has no mind. So Chaitanyam is always there. It is all pervading. It is everywhere at all times, in all circumstances. It is there. Very sukshma, very subtle. But in a human mind, when it is there, I can realize it. That is why the study is happening. That Sakshi can be known by me through the Upanishads. So in the wall, there is no mind, therefore there is no reflection of the Chit in the wall. Therefore, we call it Jadam. Whereas a human body is sentient, Chetanam. Now, what is the significance behind this entry, Anupravesha? The significance is to say whether there is Brahman, there is something called as this light of consciousness in this universe or not. Brahman, Astitva or Nava. Astitva means it exists, or Nava means it doesn't exist. So Anupravesha Shruti proves Brahman Asti, it exists. This Brahman alone is the Paramatma in the body. This Jivatma doesn't know that I am Paramatma. I am that original consciousness. The Upanishad is trying to teach me that I am not the egocentric Jiva. Egocentric Jiva is the mother, the father, the boss, the body, owner of the body. But beyond the owner of this body, there is a Sakshi. That ego realizes I am not the ego, but I am the Sakshi. That transformation of ego I to Sakshi I is the whole spiritual journey. Paramatma is the Kshetrajna. In the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the 3rd verse, Lord says, I am the Kshetrajna, I am the indweller in all the bodies. Paramatma is saying, I am the indweller. Your body also has Paramatma. My body also has this Paramatma. Along with this Paramatma is this Pramata, Ahamkara, ego, I. The Paramatma is Purnaha. It is always fulfilled. It never has any apurnatva. Whereas a Jiva is a samsari. He is always apurnaha. I always want to learn something more. That is the ego I. I am full. I am complete. I don't have any desires. That is Sakshi. So Shankaracharya asked the question, do you have doubt that you exist or not? If you say I don't exist, then there is no more question, no more dialogue. But if you say I exist, then what is that existence is what we should understand. That existence in this body is this Brahman. That existence is the entry of Brahman into this body. Therefore, Shankaracharya says, never doubt that there is something called as pure existence. Existence and consciousness are not the attribute of this body. Intrinsic attribute. They are not the intrinsic attribute. Body, if it was the intrinsic attribute, what would have happened? We would never be dead. Because it is an incidental attribute of the body, existence, existence and consciousness. Therefore, we say that body is alive, body is dead. Always start with the Brahma Asti, then you can end with Brahma Asmi. Asti and Asmi. In Sanskrit, Asti means exists. There is a reality, which we call it as Brahman. That is what my search is for. That is the goal of my journey. What is that Brahman? How I can realize that Brahman is Asmi. I am that pure consciousness. Aparoksha Jnanam and Paroksha Jnanam we have discussed before. It is Brahman Asti means it exists. It is Paroksha. Aparoksha means what? I am that Brahman. I am that Jnanam. I am that consciousness. That is what is called as realizing that pure consciousness as me. So this is the significance of Anupravesha Vakya. So Anupravesha entry is very, very important. If you, this needs a little bit of repeated study and going back to it after some more time. This will be taken up in all Upanishads, but the greatest detail is given in Taittriya Upanishad. Anupravesha Stuti is very famous portion of Taittriya. So you can go through these commentaries, which are actual translations of Shankaracharya's message in this third verse. Okay, the next portion of this is, of the mantra is this. What is the nature of this reflected consciousness which is there in the body? The reflected consciousness manifests and unmanifests. Okay? These two concepts you should be very careful. You should always remember, whenever there is a manifestation of reflection, we are in the Jagrata Avastha or in the Swapna Avastha. Whenever there is an unmanifestation of consciousness, we are in the sleep, Sushupti Avastha. Okay? Now, this is described, this reflection of consciousness is described a little bit more deeply as what? Murtha and Amurtha. It is Murtha Prapancha means it is with form. Amurtha Prapancha means it is without form. The technical word, this comes in Vedanta Upanishad. Murtha, Amurtha, Murtha, Amurtha, Brahmanam in Taittriya Upanishad. There is a separate section to discuss. There are about 15-20 mantras discussing this formed Brahman and formless Brahman. Murtha means what? Tangible creation. At the macro level, it is Prithvi. I can see the earth. I can see the water, gross water, ocean. The gross earth I can see. Agni, all of us can see the Agni, the fire principle. That is called as Murtha Prapancha, tangible. What is Amurtha Prapancha? Amurtha Prapancha is intangible creation. So whole creation can be described as in two ways. One is tangible, another is intangible. At the micro level, we talk about Sthula Shariram and Sukshma Shariram. They both come into manifestation and go back into unmanifestation. This entire, see, I'll give you the backdrop. See, the way you should look at it is Brahman is always there. Brahman is the light principle. It is the consciousness existence principle. That is beyond the Karanam and Karyam. What is the Karanam? Amurta Prapancha. Karyam is Murta Prapancha. So here what it says is, before creation, Karyam was present in Karanam. It existed in Brahman. And in what way it exists? In Avyakta Rupaha. So the whole world, in the sleep state, where is it? It is an unmanifest condition. And where is this unmanifest condition? It is within me only. And that I is called as Brahman. See how deep we have to go? We have to go beyond the sleep state and claim whatever is remaining there, claim that as Brahman and claim that as my real nature. What about this nature when I'm listening to the class and in the waking state, I'm running, going to market, eating food, kitchen, all that. This is manifest condition. So the manifest condition goes back to unmanifest condition, and the controller of this manifest and unmanifest condition is this Brahman. Okay, this is, see how deep we are going. You see, this is the way to understand the Upanishad. If you don't understand like this, you will be lost. I know people who are studying for 25, 30 years. Even yesterday, I came across somebody. He said, I'm so confused. I don't understand all this. But no, if you study regularly in a systematic way, your intellect will understand. It is not difficult at all because it is only telling you about yourself. So all this knowledge you have to apply to me. That Brahman which I'm learning in the class is nothing but me. And I have manifest condition, I have unmanifest condition. Another thing which we have to learn in Vedanta is there is no transformation in the inner self, which is Brahman. How do I understand this? Just take the example of dream. The waker without any change becomes the dreamer, dream world, and the dream experience. Similarly, Brahman without change becomes the waker, waking world, and the waking experience. Always remember, there is 3 orders of reality. It is not mentioned in the slide. I'm just telling you because it is the background information on which this entire dialogue, entire analysis is based. And this Shankaracharya brings it out very beautifully in Mandukya Upanishad. Always remember, there is no Advaita without the 3 levels. Number 1, Vyavaharika level, the transactional level, which is the Jagrata Avastha. The second level is Pratibhasika, which is the reflected consciousness level at the dream state, lower level. Then there is a higher level which is called as absolute reality, which is called as Paramarthika Satya. So 3 levels are what? Brahman, Waker, Dreamer. Dreamer is Pratibhasikam, reflection. Waker is Vyavaharikam, transactional. Third level is Brahman. All of us are nothing but that one Brahman is the revelation of Upanishad. From the five koshas, we have to come to the self. The moment you have come to the self, you have to understand the self properly with analysis. And this is the way to understand. If you go through this methodology, you'll find it very easy. Yeah, it is very easy. I can also say I am Brahman. I can say I am consciousness principle. That consciousness principle is eternal principle. It never dies. Body has a death, but consciousness never dies. And I have now realized I am immortal. That is the purpose of study of the Upanishad. And what about this mind and body and all that, the transaction? This is the transaction level. It is at a lower level. I have risen to the higher level. Therefore, I can look at the lower level and say that it is transactional, it is mithya. It is like a dream number 2. When I look at the dream came yesterday and then it disappeared also. Similarly, the waking state, the dream will come and then it will go tomorrow. But what is changeless? Changeless is this Atma. Changeless is this consciousness. It is always there. It is Vivarta Upadana Karana. Vivartam means changeless. Upadana means material cause. Changeless material Karana means cause. Universe has got 2 causes. One is Atma, another is called as Prakriti. Prakriti and Purusha. You are familiar with the Prakriti and Purusha from the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it says that Purusha is the changeless factor. Never changes. So very boldly, each one of you can say, I am deathless, I am birthless, I am consciousness, I am existence. These are my features. Where did you learn all this? Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita. That is the strength on which you can claim. You need not tell everybody, but at least in your own mind, you can claim that. So this is what is the cause. I have gone back to my cause. I, the ego, I, which belong to this Prakriti, I means what? Body-mind complex, which I have been thinking that I am that. It is a changing cause. Parinami Upadana Karanam. It is only a name and a form. What are you? What is your daughter? What's your son? Name and form. What's your husband? Name and form. He has got a name and he has got a form. And where is the name existing? Name is existing in your tongue. Vacharambanam vikaro namadeyam. Vrittikayeva satyam. Chandogya Upanishad says this. All the world which we are talking about is nothing but name and form. It is Brahman, the consciousness, is given another name. That's all. Like all the pots are nothing but the clay, all the entire universe is nothing but Brahman, the consciousness, or the existence principle. After manifestation, matter gets 2 names, Murtha, Amurtha. And the universe has got 3 conditions, which is waking, dream, and sleep. In the waking state, I see the sthula prapancha, gross. It is a karyam. It is a product which is born out of karana. What is the karanam? Karanam is the karana prapancha. Like you have the karana shariram, you have the karana prapancha, tattvabodham. We have explained this. The cause of this whole universe is Karana Prapancha, which is what we experience in the sleep state. In Mandukya Upanishad, Shankaracharya brings out this point extremely well. I'm going to start Mandukya Upanishad on the 16th of January. or 13th of January. I will let you know. Mandukya Upanishad is very clearly discusses the three states of Upanishads, of the three states of the mind. So Murta Prapancha, Amurta Prapancha, both of these are Karyam. It is a product. Whereas Karanam is the what we experience in the sleep state. All of us, you see, this point should be very clearly assimilated by you. All of you must assimilate this point that I have got two states. One state is this gross body, gross universe. It is called as Karyam, product, manifest. I have another state in which I experience that is called as Karana Avastha. That is the sleep state. The seed state for the universe is called as Karana Prapancha. That Karana Prapancha is invisible. It is also unmanifest. You can't see it through your eyes, but you can only come to know when you study the Upanishads. This seed state is also called as Maya. This Maya becomes the world. World means the Jagrat Prapancha, in which all the bodies and beings, all the entire universe. You see, we are going into the depth of the philosophical study of the universe. It is not an objective, it is a subjective. What is the reality behind this universe? This Brahman does not become the world, it can't become anything because there is no vikara in it. See, there is no modification in it. That is why we call it vivartam. So it is only behind this creation, behind this Jagrat Prapancha. Like the baker is behind the dreamer. Similarly, Brahman is behind the baker. Maya is Trigunatmika, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. It has got unmanifest powers. And what is whenever you talk about Maya, it is a Shakti. That Shakti must belong to somebody. That Adhishtanam to which this Maya belongs is called as Brahman. Okay. So, Karanam Maya is unmanifest. Karyam is manifest. Prapancha, which is Murtha and Amurtha. See, this is describing the creation for all of us to know, because we are all in creation trying to understand what is beyond creation. A potter, for example, produces the pot with the clay, from the lump of clay. All the forms of clay are nothing but it is, all the forms of the pots are nothing but it is clay. So clay exists in pot form and a lump form. Similarly, this whole Brahman exists by itself without any change, because it is a material cause. It is what type of material cause? It is a vivartakara. What about clay? Clay is not vivartam. It is a changing material cause. Clay changes into a pot. Gold changes into a ring and a bangle. But Brahman is, changing means what? Parinami. Changeless means vivarta. See, I have to introduce all these concepts through the Sanskrit words, but this is the only way to understand Upanishads. Shankaracharya's Bhashyam is very much in detail. For one verse of Upanishad, he writes 20 pages. of commentary. One verse. Sometimes when you come to Mandukya Upanishad, for one quarter of a verse, he writes 20 pages. So that is the intensity by which Shankaracharya writes all these commentaries to make, see, otherwise we don't understand the commentary. We will never understand how that pure consciousness has become this entire universe. So Maya has become creation. Svetashvara Upanishad also says, know the nature of Maya. And who is the God? God is the Lord of Maya. He is the Lord of Maya Shakti. It is a power. The whole world is filled with the beings who form his parts. That means you and I are only small portions of that Maya Shakti. That's all. All our body is what? It is Maya Shakti. It is a power through which we are able to experience this whole universe. This is the reality which we are trying to understand. So this verse 263, this is what we are studying now. This is the simple description. I shall become many. After having created, I shall enter it. Then, what is the nature of this world? It is manifest, unmanifest. It is defined, undefined. It is house, houseless. It is knowledge and ignorance. It is truth and falsehood. And all this, what exists, is nothing but Brahman. This is the verse. It's so deep. This one portion, which is 6 lines, 7 lines, we have taken almost like 100, 200 pages we have written on this one paragraph. Okay, let us go forward. Creation is talked twice in Taittriya Upanishad. Idagum sarvam asrujata. This is how creation is described. How does it describe? Creation is manifest and it is unmanifest. These are the two ways in which creation is formed. The 3 stages of spiritual development is, first of all, I have to understand Eka Rupa Ishvara. See, this is the growth of the mind. It is an evolution of the mind to know the ultimate truth. We are all born with a Prakrita Manaha. Prakrita means it is a natural, subtle elements is what is the mind. It is Prakriti. But this Prakriti mind, we want to convert it into divine mind. In order to do that, it has got 3 stages. One is Eka Rupa Ishvara. You understand there is one God. Then there is Aneka Rupa Ishvara. God is in many forms. And what is the last one? So the growth is from one form of Lord Shiva in one form, Lord Vishnu in one form. Then you understand this Lord is not in one form, but he is in many, many forms. Aneka Rupa Ishvara. That is what in chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita we see. The Vibhuti of the Lord. Aneka Rupa. Then the last one is Arupa Ishvara. Arupa means formless Ishvara. That is what is called as Brahman. The core of my personality is this Brahman. Formless. There is no form. But if I touch my heart and just to tell in your own mind, Aham Brahma Asmi. I am that awareness, Sakshi principle, into which this entire universe resolves in the sleep state, from which this whole creation manifests during waking state. If you can remember this truth all the time, then you are a Jivan Mukta. What about the ego, which will keep on pulling you into the world of transactions? Let that continue. Doesn't matter, because I know I am Paramarthikam. I know I am higher order of reality. Vyavaharikam goes on. But at the same time, when the Vyavaharikam is going on, I realize I am that absolute truth. First, we say Bhagavan created the world, means there is Bhagavan and there is world, Dvaitam, which is called as Murtha Prapancha, formed God, a formed world, and a God with form. Then, in that concept, what is it? Bhagavan is Nimitta Karana, intelligent cause. Then we say Bhagavan became the world, slightly higher level. So when we say Bhagavan became the world, it is Visishta Advaita. Parinami Upadana Karana, changing God. Whole world is nothing but God. It is changing God. So chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita is Parinami or Vivartam, Parinami. Chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita is Parinami or Vivartam. Chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita is Vivartam. Chapter 10 is Parinami. Brahma appears as the world, Advaitam. Chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita. There is nothing but only Brahman. It is that which is behind all forms and formless. Like the firebrand appears as so many patterns, Alata Drishtanta, one conscious, this is used, Alata Drishtanta is an example used in Mandukya Upanishad, the 4th chapter. See, when you rotate in a dark room, if you rotate agarbatti, keep on rotating in circular and anti-circular form, what will happen? You will see patterns. So similarly, our mind is like that agarbatti. The mind keeps on rotating. It keeps on explaining, going through different experiences, the thoughts. But the thought is, when it is moving, it is a pattern. But when the thought is stopped, you can only see one light of consciousness. In meditation also, when the thoughts are moving very fast, you get different images in your mind. Images about your future, images about your past, about your son, about what you have to cook and so on. But suppose you are able to restrain the mind and bring it to one pointed concentration, in that you can see Sakshi being reflected. Okay? Okay, now the second pair, first we have seen Murtha and Amurtha. Now we have to see another pair, Niruktam, Aniruktam. Niruktam means it can be clearly defined. Aniruktam means it cannot be defined. It is very similar to Amurtha Prapancha and Murtha Prapancha, but the Upanishad uses this so that we are able to go a little bit deeper. Niruktam means it is in Desha and Kala, in space and time. Aniruktam means it is beyond, Paraksha. Then another word, Nilayancha, Anilayancha is used. Nilayan means it is with Ashraya. Ashraya means it is with a house, with a support. Anilayam means without a support. Brahman exists without any support, but it is the support of the entire universe. Okay, that is the meaning of Niruktam, Aniruktam, Nilayam, Aninilayam. These are the words which are used in the mantra. in the 263. Okay, this is just a revision. I will skip this portion because I have already explained all these things. Niruktam, Aniruktam, we just seen. Okay, this verse here of Bhagavad Gita, very important. This is the 13th chapter. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidyanadi Ubhavapi Vikaransh Gunash Chaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. This explains whatever we have been discussing so far. What is it? Prakriti and Purusha are both anadi, means they are beginningless, they are endless. There is no beginning for Purusha, there is no beginning for Prakriti also. It is a cycle. The world is creation is a cycle. And Purusha is not, it never begins because he was never created. Purusha is always there. Whenever you say beginningless, endless means what? It is eternal, always there. And what is the second portion? Vikaramsha Gunashaiva. The second portion of the Bhagavad Gita says, all modifications of Prakriti is this entire world, which is Trigunatmika. Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Prakriti means what? Prakriti means nature. Nature is made up of three gunas. And all of us, when you say us means what? The body or the mind is made up of Prakriti. My mind is Rajasic, sometimes Tamasic, sometimes Sattvic. What is Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic? The three gunas of Prakriti. Prakriti means what? Panchabhutas. Okay. So both Prakriti and Purusha are Anadi. Anadi means beginningless, endless, eternal. Okay. Then so what is the meaning of Sukshma Prapancha? Sukshma Prapancha means my sensory organs cannot perceive the Sukshma form, subtle form. Eyes can see the gross form, ears can hear the sound. But when it comes to my mind, who knows the mind? It is the Sakshi which knows the mind. Sense organs will not know the mind because mind is behind the sense organ. Brahman is beyond Karya, Karana, Prapancha. Beyond means what? It is not a Karanam, it is not a Karya. Brahman by itself. Only when we know that, then we can get moksha. The third pada, first pada is waking. Second pada is dream. Third pada is the sleep. Sleep is the karanam for karyam, for waking and dream. Beyond the sleep state is Brahman, which is neither karanam or karyam. I have to know this Brahman, which is not the Karana Prapancha, which is what is the Karana Prapancha? The sleep. Whatever I experience in my sleep. What do I experience? I experience unmanifest form of this creation. It is not available for perception. It is unmanifest. What do I see? That is the Karana. So, for example, a seed. In the seed, you can get entire tree and the fruits and so many seeds. But from a small seed, this is how Chandogya Upanishad Guru explains to a student. He says, bring me a seed. In the seed, can you see the tree? The student says, no, I can't see the tree. I can only see a small little portion of seed. But in that seed is a tree there in unmanifest form or not, potential form or not. Yes, it is there. Yes, that is exactly what this sleep state is. The sleep state is a seed state for the entire potential universe, which is the Jagrata Avastha. But is there anything which illumines that sleep state also? That is called as Brahman. See, if you understand this one small slide here, you can understand I am that consciousness. It's very deep. These are all extremely deep analysis. The moment your mind becomes sukshmam and focused and concentrated, you will enjoy these analysis. The normal meaning of Karana Prapancha is Avyakrita, unmanifest. And Karyam means, what is the Karyam? It is Vyakritam. Vyakritam means it is manifest. There is a mistake here. Unmanifest, and this should be manifest, yeah, not unmanifest. So unmanifest is Aninilayam. These are just words. Murta, Amurta, both are Karyam and Vyakritam. Okay. I've gone through this, so I'm not explaining this again. Vijnanam, avijnanam. That is the next pair for discussion. See, Shankaracharya spends a lot of time explaining each and every word of the Upanishads. Vijnanam chetnam, avijnanam. See, these are all explanations of one word, vijnana. Vijnana means sentient. Avijnana means those that are not sentient, which means what? Inert. But inert and sentient, both are what? Both are nothing but Brahman. That is what the Upanishad is trying to teach. Chetanam is sentient, vijnanam. Avijnanam is insentient. Sentient and insentient are born out of Ishvara. Ishvara is the third pada, the sleep state. So, physical body and a stone. Stone is insentient matter, but the body is sentient because it is got a reflection of that consciousness. Originally, intrinsically, both are insentient. Body without this consciousness is insentient. All living bodies are nothing but sentient matter, and wall, stone are insentient. Both matter out of one Ishvara only. That is what is this. What is said in this portion. Vijnanam, avijnanam. Sometimes we don't understand how that one light of consciousness is there in all our bodies, in all our mind. How that one consciousness appears as many. How? Mundaka Upanishad, we have done this Upanishad, we have dealt with this when we have studied it. But here Shankaracharya brings out this Upanishad and says that like in the Mundaka Upanishad, it says thousands of sparks are formed out of one fire. Similarly, out of one immortal Brahman, so many living beings are originating, and they all go back. Where does the spark go? Spark resolves in the fire. Similarly, jivas, they resolve in nothing but Brahman. From the body, sentient finger grows, insentient hair grows. Our hair is not sentient, it is insentient. Why do we say it is insentient? If it was sentient, we would never allow anybody to cut our hair. Because it is insentient, we can cut the hair, make it short, long. But our finger is sentient. So in one body itself, you have an insentient part and a sentient part. Similarly, in creation, there is a sentient part and there is an insentient part. The entire the stone and wall and mountains, they're all insentient. And the human beings, animals, plants are sentient beings. Earlier, I had given you the three orders of reality. This is what it is: Vyavaharikam, Pratibhasikam, Paramarthikam. Paramarthikam is what? Absolute reality. Jagat Karanam Brahma. Pratibhasikam is what? Like the rope snake, dream, mirage water. Vyavaharikam is the empirical reality, transactional reality. The dream and the Jagrat, both are products. Okay? Both are products, they are born and they are resolved. Satyam Abhavat. Satyam Abhavat means Vyavaharikam and Pratibhasikam are unreal. Unreal means what? They are appearances and they disappear. What is the meaning of Satyam? Vyavaharika Satyam is different than Paramarthika Satyam. Paramarthika Satyam is one, always remaining the same. It is neither a Karanam or Karyam. See, only when we know this pure consciousness as this Brahman, as me, my real nature, only then we talk about moksha. Knowing I have an unmanifest condition in my sleep state does not give moksha. Sleep state is also unmanifest, Brahman is also unmanifest. But sleep state comes back into Jagrat, whereas Brahman remains as Brahman all the time. That is why it is called as absolute reality. It is not a relative reality. Okay, so this is what is being explained here. Mriga Dishtanta, what is the relative reality? What is the Pratibhasika Satyam? This is that mirage water and so on. Okay, this is the same description of whatever we have discussed about Satyam. Absolute reality is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, which is the subject in us. It is I. Whenever I say I, you should remember that I has got two meanings. One is the absolute I, which is Sakshi, the relative I, which is the ego in us. We conduct the entire transactions with the help of ego I. This ego I has to realize this Sakshi I. In Chandogya Upanishad, it clearly states that before the world was manifest, there was existence, one without the second. See, why do rishis make very bold statement that I am that Brahman? Because of these statements which are there in the Upanishad. Upanishad says that when there was no creation at all, there was this Lord, which we call it as Brahman. And he alone was. So without the superimposition of this body, mind, and world, I just have to take my attention towards this factor, which is revealed by the Upanishads. If I didn't know the Upanishad, my mind cannot travel here. So this is a pramanam to say that pure Brahman existed before the creation of the universe, and therefore I can take my mind to that as my intrinsic nature. Vyavaharikam and Pratibhasikam are incidental, but Brahman is my real nature. Entire world is mithya. But for mithya world, anything which is mithya, for example, rope snake is mithya. But for mithya, there has to be a satya. This is the yukti pramanam. This is the inference. Through inference, I come to know there is Brahman. Through anubhava, I come to know I am Brahman. And through Shruti, Shruti says in the sleep state, you are Brahman. Can you see how I can put all these three together and just think about all these three statements? Shruti says, in the sleep state, I am Brahman, the pure consciousness. My Anubhava tells me, in the sleep state, I am that pure consciousness without any word. Yukti says that mithya world which I experience requires a satyam. That satyam is the same Brahman. Through these three, Shruti, Yukti, and Anubhava, we can say that Aham Brahmasmi is the ultimate reality. Brahma Sutra says, I mean, there is also another Chandogya Upanishad verse which I have quoted here, which are also talking about in a very abstract manner. It talks about one light, one color, which becomes three colors. There is only non-difference in this universe. Differences are only incidental. Bheda is incidental. Abheda is reality. Abheda means non-difference. The ignorant people say that this world is real. The wise people say the world is mithya. What is mithya for world? If world is mithya, then there has to be a satyam. For the rope snake, rope is the satyam. For the ring, bangle, and all that, satyam is gold. For the world, Brahman is satyam. For you and me, the satyam, the adhishtanam is the pure atma, pure Brahman. When we say pure means what? It is without the upadhi, without the conditioning of the matter principle. Prapancha rupena Brahma asti. Okay, these are some other revision portions. I'll skip this. Satyam Mithya, I've explained to you. This logic, Chandogya Upanishad also I've explained. Bhashyam. These are also revision portions. Atma Akamayatos. So this is all related to 263. Okay, this also I have explained reflected consciousness, original consciousness. We have seen this portion. See, there are some, these are all revision notes. I have just included in the notes because it's important, you know. The two knowers I have explained, this is how we started today, the two knowers. What is the proof that the world exists? Because the knower exists, therefore we say Brahman exists. Okay, I will stop here. Next week, I will just start from this verse and then we will, from this slide 784. And then we'll continue our discussions. Okay, seventh Anuva. Okay, let me just finish this one small. I'll take extra 2 minutes. Then we can go to the seventh Anuvaka in the next week. We can go. This is just the end portion of the this is just a revision of what all we studied so far. So in this sixth section, what we have studied is there is existence of Brahman. And so with this, the sixth Anuvaka is over. 7, 8, and 9, these are other 3 Anuvakas. So next week, I'm going to start this Brahmanandavalli Anuvaka number 7. Okay. So with this, I will close for today's discussion. Next week, we'll start with this 786 slide. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamathaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So we have closed today's discussions. Now, let me see if there is anything on the chat board. Manikandan, who is raising his hand. Manikandan, can you go ahead?
Thank you, Segarji, for the excellent explanation. I just want to understand, I want to confirm whether my understanding is correct or not. You mentioned that the knower principle, that mind plus Siddhabhasa and Chit.
Yes.
So in this, the Pramata is mind and the Siddhabhasa, and the Chit is the Sakshi.
Correct.
So since Sakshi cannot be known through any means of instrument, only the Pramata can claim that I am Sakshi, rather than it knows that there is no way of the Pramata to know the Sakshi. Instead of that, it can claim only that I am Sakshi. Is this correct?
Yeah, it is correct. But only one thing you should remember. The remembrance is, I have come to know that Sakshi only because of Upanishads, Shruti.
Okay.
So, for example, I listen to a sound from my ears. So, ears are the pramana. Pramana means it is a source of knowledge for the sound. The eyes are the source of knowledge for the form and color. In this world, for that pure consciousness, the pramanam, the source is Shruti, source is Upanishad. This knower, suppose you say, how do I know this Sakshi is there or not? It is because Upanishad is telling me there is a Sakshi which is called as Brahman, which your eyes can never see it. In meditation, you don't try to see that Sakshi, don't try to know that Sakshi, but you say, I am that Sakshi all the time. Claim that, that is the only way. And that is the only way I can get moksha. See, moksha is a very, very simple thing. But you should know what is the form in which I can get this liberation from my mind. Mind is incidental. It is comes, goes. It comes in the waking state. In the sleep state, there is no mind. But I am there all the time. In the sleep, I am there. You try to take your mind between the sleep state and the waking state, you will realize Sakshi. Pure Sakshi is, you can just compare, just in your own mind you see. So your understanding is correct. Only thing is, add one point, I am basing this because of the Shruti Pramana. I have full faith in the Upanishad, because tomorrow you should not say that your mind should not get a doubt again. Hey, where is that Brahman? Where is that Sakshi? If you don't have a source, a strong source, your mind will cheat you. But if you have a strong source, your mind, your intellect will be completely convinced of this. You'll have firm conviction. Good question. Good.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you.
Yeah. Shanta, go ahead.
Yeah, Namaste, Mahoday. Today, I really felt quite nice, and I started, feeling that, yeah, I'm trying to understand a few things, or, getting to that understanding level. Otherwise, I was always thinking I was at the surface level. So, thank you very much for taking us in this journey. Uh, you mentioned today in the talk that before the universe, Brahman alone existed, right? And
Correct.
then there was, yes. So then there was this, in another example which you mentioned about this agarbatti. So when the agarbatti is moved, you get patterns. And when you stop it, you just see one light. Same way, when thoughts start moving, you start seeing visions or images, or when and then it stops when you
Correct.
ekagrita.
Yeah.
Now, my question is, when Brahman was alone, there was no universe because he was also he's ancient. So he had his mind, which was calm. It- Are we the thoughts of the Brahman?
Are we?
Yes. I
Yes,
mean, the
100,
universe,
100%.
universe.
100%. You're right. You're right. The Brahman is expressing us, this entire universe means we are the thoughts of Brahman. You're right.
So,
Therefore, you are in that avidya, mula avidya of Brahman.
hmm,
So you have to come out of that mula avidya and say, I am Brahman.
yeah, so Brahman also has got thoughts, which, as a result of which, from his thoughts, the Brahman, or that concept of Brahman's thoughts became the universe.
Okay, this is only from the standpoint of creation.
Okay.
Don't take it from the point of Brahman. Brahman is always eternal, it is always without anything in creation. When you are in creation, when you look at Brahman, you will say, yes, this is a part and parcel of Brahman creation. Therefore, it should be a subtle. That is why we say it's Karana Prapancha. See,
Mm,
Ishvara, don't take it to the level of Brahman. See,
mm,
at the level of Ishvara, you stop this movement
mm,
of thought, mind, and all that.
yeah.
Stop it at the level of Ishvara. Don't take it at the
Mm,
level of Brahman because Brahman is beyond Karanam and Karya.
mm,
At the level of Ishvara, you say
mm,
Karana Prapancha. In the Karana Prapancha, all these thoughts are in unmanifest condition. So at the Ishvara level, you stop it. That means my
okay.
mind is with the Hiranyagarbha, I stop it.
Mm,
Hiranyagarbha is the same subtle body at the macro level.
mm.
But don't take it to the Brahman level. Brahman is it's a very divine principle. It is. There is no words to describe it. And
So from Brahman, which is as another example which you mentioned today, I'm just trying to get my thoughts in place.
yeah,
When you talk about this fire and the sparks coming out of the fire was exactly like Brahman becoming many. Or,
Ishvara. Brahman is
Ishwar,
not
okay,
becoming.
Ishwar is
It's
becoming many.
Ishvara
Okay,
becoming
okay.
many.
Ishvara becoming many. Okay. And so we still feel the presence of Ishvara is also because of Brahman. Now,
Exactly.
the second question I've got is related to the Satyam and Mithya. Now, this whole universe, because without Satya, there cannot be Mithya, because you cannot have a rope snake without the rope.
Correct.
So, therefore, for this entire universe, which is Mithya, there is a Satya. And
Correct.
that Satya, if we have to say it is Brahman. So my point is, when Brahman is Nirakara, Nirupa, Nirvikara, then how is that this whole universe, which is Mithya, can have all these different forms from that Nirakara and Nirvikara Brahman?
Yeah. You see, like, take the example of Waker. There is only one Waker, but then in the dream we see so many beings and mountains, and there's so many things are seen in dream. So many objects are seen in dream. Now, one Waker has become the whole dream universe. All that is mithya.
Okay.
In mithya, you can have billions of mithya vastus. But in Satyam, there is only one Satyam.
One. Yes.
So when we say Ekam Eva Advitiyam, it means only one Satyam is there, which is consciousness. Then there is only one Brahman. There are no multiple Brahmans. One Atma. Sankhya, Yoga, Vaiseshika, all other people, they say Atmas are many. They have confused the reflected consciousness as Atma. And they say Atmas are many. You have your body, you have your Atma, I have my body, I have my Atma. They are only at the reflected consciousness. They have not gone beyond the reflected consciousness, which is the original consciousness.
So this makes it clear, because a Waker and his dream world, so it is Brahman and the universe.
Correct. You see,
The
this
form
aspect
is
of three levels of reality, always keep that in the mind. Satyam Mithya. Satyam is the absolute level I'm talking about. Mithya means it is an example of either a rope snake or dream or mirage water or a magic show. Just to tell you, in Mandukya Upanishad, there are two words. One word which describes this Brahman. And that word is called as Prapancha Upashama. On this one word, which is Prapancha Upashama, means what? The whole world gets dissolved in that Brahman. And Brahman is Satyam and the world is Mithya. So Vaitatyam means falsity of the universe, Mithyatvam of the universe. On this one word, Shankaracharya's Guru's Guru has written 38 verses to explain Mithya. What is Mithya? How the world is Mithya. Then another word in Mandukya Upanishad, 7th mantra, Advaitam. Advaitam, again, Advaitam means non-dual. Non-dual means there is no second consciousness. Word Satyam is only one. There is no two Satyams. Mithya can be many. To explain this Advaitam, Shankaracharya's Guru's Guru, Gaudapadacharya, has written 48 verses to explain one word. And Shankaracharya writes pages and pages of commentary on that 48 verses. And in the last portion, third chapter, second chapter is Mithyatva. The third chapter is Advaita. The last chapter, the fourth chapter, is this Agarbatti example, Alata Shanti. On this Alata Shanti, this example of the Agarbatti, 100 verses are there. 100. So at the end of the third chapter, Gaudapadacharya, he says, come, I will prove to you that the world is Mithya in the second chapter. Then he says, come to the third chapter. I will prove that the world is only Dvaitam is it's only an appearance. Advaitam is the reality. See, so such a lot of clarity comes when you do such types of analysis. Anyway, I just wanted
Okay,
to
yeah.
tell you, it's good that you have brought up these points. It shows that you have a very, very deep mind and you will love the Mandukya Upanishad.
I'm looking forward for it. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Anybody
Yeah.
else has a question? We have another. Yeah.
Secondly, one question,
Uh-huh.
maybe a little of tangent. When we are pursuing this Upanishad classes, trying to understand Brahman uh, in that sense, will one be able to pray in the conventional way with the images of God or the idols of God, etc., a lot of conviction? Because they don't go hand in hand or go together, right?
No, no, no. You see, Venkatesh is like this. See, we all have to rise from the God with form to God without form. What Shankaracharya says is, you continue your prayers. Let the prayers continue at the Vyavaharika level. You are used to praying Lord with form. Continue your prayers. Only when you come to Vedantic talks like this, let your mind dwell on the higher aspects of God. We are not discounting, we are not saying that, we are not trying to replace that idol, the Lord with the idol. We are not trying to replace that. We are only saying there is a higher level. So continue your prayers, because prayers are effective. They have a phalam, they have a benefit. They give you the benefit at the Vyavaharika level. So always remember, prayers are useful, they are beneficial. Continue all your samskara activities, enjoying the pujas, everything. And only thing you try to say there is, through understanding, I'm not replacing anything, through understanding, my mind will travel towards this higher reality. See, take the example of Shankaracharya. After realizing such a Brahman and so on, he wrote such beautiful verses of Saguna Bhakti. Lalita Sahasranama is written by him. You see, he comes down to the level. So at the Vyavaharika level, you should never try to the entire study is at a higher level. Just keep that in mind. Am I clear, Vignesh?
Yeah, but I am able to
I
follow that line of thought. But when you are doing your prayers, you always have this confusion that actually it is Brahman. So, but still I am doing this prayer. One confusion keeps coming
if
there.
you if you
Okay.
don't mind, Sir Mahodaji, I would like to add to what he's saying, and maybe then you can answer to both of us. Um, Venkateshji, I also went through this process where when I went to the temple, I felt everything is mithya. What the hell is this? Why is, it's becoming like a chore, which does not have any reality in it. But taking a step back, what I thought was, when we go to the temple, we do the prayers, it is doing the chitta shuddhi. So the chitta shuddhi, chit ke ekagrata, all that comes when we do the prayers with devotion. And I feel that devotion helps us to uh, develop a better understanding of what we are learning in Upanishad. So that karma which we are doing of doing the prayers with japa and the puja, I think it is I feel that is doing that act
It's
of chit.
complementary.
Yeah, it is just helping us to actually make our chit shuddha, so that the clarity in our mind and we don't get diverted by this prapancha world. That's what I meaning I went through that phase where I felt, oh, why am I doing all these vratas and pujas? But I don't know whether it will help you in this way, but whether my understanding also is in the right way. But that's how I look at it, as chit
Yeah,
shuddhi ke
you're
liye
right.
I'm doing this.
Yeah, Shanta, you're right. You see, you have a correct understanding of what the prayer can give us and what the prayer cannot give us. What the prayer can give us is chitta shuddhi.
Yeah.
All our external activities of going to a Tirtha Yatra, doing up Shraddham, celebrating festivals, all that, carrying out the marriage of our son or daughter, so many samskaras we all have. Throughout
So-
all that, you should remember what all this is leading to chitta shuddhi. I have
And it could
explained
be
this
also
before.
the karma yoga part of Bhagavad
Even
Gita.
karma yoga, upasana yoga, they all lead to chitta shuddhi. And chitta shuddhi will lead to better understanding of jnana yoga. All, you see, in especially in Vichara Sagara, the author there, Nishala Dasa, he clearly tells us that all study of Veda Angas, Upavedas, all the Purana, Itihasa, 18 branches of studies in the Vedic period, all of them, he says, have only one goal, Chitta Shuddhi. So the puja which we do is Agama Shastra. It is not the Vedic, it was not existing in the Vedic period, it came later. It is puja is a Agama which has come in the recent times. Recent, what I mean by recent is 4,000-5,000 years old. It's not 1 year, 2 years. So what he says, this is a great master, is a great acharya. And he says all the sciences, all other sciences are all leading to only give us chitta shuddhi, making our mind. See what happens when you do a puja. At the end of the puja or at the end of idol worship, when you come out of the temple, your mind will be calm. In that calm mind, you see, as I told you, the spiritual science study is an evolution of the mind. The mind goes from Eka Rupa to Aneka Rupa to Arupa Ishvara. So don't have any doubt that puja or temple worship will not have any benefit. This is a good question. Venkatesh, I'm glad you pointed out, but many people have this confusion. So what Shanta says is absolutely right. For making my mind pure, so when you go, for example, to the temple, suppose your mind asks for certain boons from the Lord. Boons means I want to get my daughter married, son married, or I want to become well. I'm suffering, my body is suffering, I have some problems. I need, please, oh Lord, help me to clear. If your mind says this is an automatic thing. You see, you don't plan this. When you go and stand in front of an idol, something comes up in your mind. So if it comes, don't feel guilty. Because you have learned Vedanta and you don't apply that when you are in front of a temple, you say, okay, this is the Lord. That same Lord which I know is formless is now appearing as with form. What I'm praying to is the same Atma, and it is not existing somewhere else. Right now, Atma is there. In front of me, the same Atma which I have learned through the Upanishad is there in front. That's all. Am I clear, Venkatesh?
Yeah. I think this is, I have to travel this path to have this
Yes.
fully
No.
reconciled.
Yes, you have to travel this path and it will come. let it come in its own form. You will get it. See, what will happen after some time when you are continuously listening, especially to Shankaracharya Bhashyam. I'm doing Shankaracharya Bhashyam of Taittriya. I'm going to do it in Mandukya. I have done, of course, the notes are available of Keno. But what I'm saying is, when you listen to the Bhashyam of Shankaracharya, your mind will become pure. And when your mind becomes pure, what will happen is your doubts will come down and you will get more and more clarity about whatever you're listening. That listening aspect becomes very sharp and focused. And with the focused mind, one day that you see what you are in the phase now, Venkatesh, is it's called as Mananam phase. Shravanam has led to Mananam. So Mananam, your intellect is trying to ask and answer the questions. This is what this phase is called as Mananam phase. There is one more phase after this, which is the Nididhyasnam phase. After Shravanam, Mananam starts automatically. After Mananam, once you are delved in 12, once you have been dwelling in Mananam for some time, then the next process is Nididhyasnam. In the Nididhyasnam, what will happen is, whatever my mind is thinking, it is all mithya. What is Satyam is the Sakshi, which is behind my intellect. That is dropping your mind as what? False. You are saying that, you see, whenever your mind is acting, it is jnana adhyasa. It is also adhyasa. It is jnana adhyasa. That means thoughts. Thoughts are blocking your sakshitvam. Thoughts are blocking your pure consciousness, expressing it or abiding in it. That pure consciousness is eternity. It is timeless. We don't realize it. Many times we are in our own self and we don't realize that. Only when my mind starts projecting, then time comes into place and I get into Dvaita. Okay, good. Anybody else has a question? Yeah, Bharat, go ahead.
Hello, Shakachi. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
I just wanted to add to the discussion about prayers and puja. In Taittriya Upanishad, it says the knower of Brahman attains the highest through the verse Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. And what that kind of indicates is whichever experience you're having or not having, it's that divine presence that you're using all the time, and it's just an acknowledgement of understanding and knowing it and realizing that everything you're doing, even as Shankara says, even to doubt anything is also an indication of the existence of Brahman. So I find it helpful, especially when I'm working hard or doing something which is very active in my mind, that whatever I'm doing is a form of puja right there and then, no matter what it is. It could even be watching Netflix. I just wanted to add that to the discussion. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bharat. This is a very deep knowledge, which you can express it in this fashion also. What Bharat says is true. Any action which you do, say that this is Brahman. That's all. Brahman is not to be found in the future somewhere after learning Upanishads and all that. Right now Brahman is there, and that is what is not visible. It is not visible to the eyes. It is not visible to the. It is not visible to any of my sense organs. So, if I know that God is there all the time, I am always with that God. Remember this one thought. I am always one with God. I'm never away from God. That's all. And let the life take on as it comes. Okay. If there are no other questions, we'll stop. Anything else? We have 2 more sessions. Today is the 20. We have today is the 25th of November. The 2nd and 9th, I'm traveling on the 16th of December. So 2nd and 9th, we have 2 sessions more. What I have decided is, because this Taittriya Upanishad Bhashyam, this portion which we are doing is very important. Earlier, I thought I will stop Taittriya Upanishad in December, but because it's important, I am going to continue Taittriya Bhashyam over till we finish the Taittriya Bhashyam. So it will spill over next year, maybe 3-4 months, I don't know, into next year, because I want to continue the tempo of Taittriya Upanishad. And it's very, very deep, and I don't want to stop in between. So I will continue, even though there are 2 sessions pending now, but after that also I will continue with this Taittriya Upanishad. We have 7, 8, and 9, 3 more Anuvakas. Once we finish this, we'll finish the second chapter, then we'll go to the 3rd chapter. So let me continue. I don't want to stop this and start something else before we finish this. I hope you agree with this decision. Some of you have already expressed it.
Yeah. So does it mean that on Sundays the Mandukya Upanishad will not start?
No. Mandukya will be on Sundays.
Okay.
That is independent.
Okay.
So I am stopping the Wednesday class.
Oh, okay.
The Wednesday class of Panchadasi will be stopped. Another 2 sessions, 3 sessions, we'll stop the Wednesday class. There'll be no more Wednesday class. So next year, I'm back. The Mandukya Upanishad will start in January. It will start on Sunday the 14th of January. So 14th January, I will start the Mandukya Upanishad, and then 13th January we will have our Taittriya Upanishad again. So Saturdays will be Taittriya Upanishad, will continue. Sunday we'll be starting a new Upanishad, which is Mandukya. So the whole of next year will be, by and large, Shankara Bhashyam. After Taittriya Upanishad, I will be taking verse by verse Katha Upanishad. It will not be Bhashyam, but it will be verse by verse Katha Upanishad. It's a very beautiful Upanishad. You'll enjoy it. But these 2 Upanishad, remember, in your lifetime, when you want to study Upanishad, Taittriya Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, both, if you can study, fantastic. They are brilliant Upanishad. They will take you deep inside. A lot of concepts are discussed in both Upanishad. Mandukya has more than Taittriya. But Taittriya, what we are seeing now is the most important portion. Anupravesha, then these 3 levels of realities. These are all intricate things in Vedanta. So if you understand this, then Vedanta becomes simple. And the result of all this is you will feel I am free from my wretchedness of my mind. The mind keeps on telling me, showing me that this is real, this is real. It is the mind which goes in the past and it goes in the future. If it goes in the past, it will have regrets. If it goes in the future, it will keep on showing this will happen, that will happen, hopes, and so many things. But both are not real. They appear to be real, but they are not real. So all our time, we are only spending between the past and the future. And that concept of time is born. But when I am with my present, then all the time I am with my consciousness. I am awareness. So learning to withdraw the mind from both the past and the future and living in the present is the ultimate success to enjoying our current living. In the present, you do whatever you have to do. Let the actions go on. But with the knowledge, I am the pure consciousness. In the light of this consciousness, things are happening. If I am able to realize this, that is the end of our study of Upanishads. After that, you don't need anything. And I am hoping that with the help of these Upanishads study, you will be able to, I'm quite sure with Mandukya and the Taittriya Bhashyams, you will be very clear. Most of you have been attending these talks for a very long time. And I think the clarity itself will prove to you that my study is over. Okay? All right. Thank you. Good night. And wish you a happy day.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Namaste.
Namaste, namaste.
Thank you very much.